Lifebrary, a podcast dedicated to your personal story. A story which is not merely a collection of events, but a powerful chronicle that encapsulates the essence of who you are. Understanding the importance of your personal story is to recognize the significance of your voice in the grand symphony of life. Let's get connected.
Okay. I joined the service back in 1973, November, and I went to Fort Knox, Kentucky, for my basic training. And it was during the wintertime, and the drill sergeant says you'll be able to do a lot better in the wintertime than the summertime, because summertime they had the mountains of heartbreak, agony, and misery. We never went there. We were lucky enough not to go there. So we did our training in Fort Knox. Then they shipped us off to Fort Dix, New Jersey for our AIT, which is a truck driving 64 Charlie. And that was really nice because my mom lived over in Long Island, and I used to go over there to see her on the weekends and stuff like that. And one weekend I tried to make it back to the base, and it was snowing so bad that I couldn't even find out where my barracks was. So I had to stop by the MPs, and excuse me, they took me to my base. They took me to my barracks, and so the drill sergeant had information that I wouldn't be there, but yep, I showed up. And after the AIT, we went to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, 101st Airborne Division. I was stationed for the people that take care of the laundry and the fuel and stuff like that. And I was only there for a month. And then I went for Combat Engineers, 20th Engineer Company. And I knew how to do all the equipment. My dad used to have heavy equipment, cranes, bulldozers, backhoes, and so I was in the combat engineers, and we helped build a airfield in the back of the way back in the camp, Fort Campbell, and that was really nice and stuff like that. Then asked for a transfer, and they sent me to Korea for a year and a half. I know it's only a year compassionate assignment. You know, you can't bring your wives or anything. But I was going to ETS in 6 months after I was there, and they asked me if I'd like to extend. I said, yeah. And I was at the motor pool, truck driving, stuff like that, going all the way up to the DMZ down to Busan, delivering diesel for the guys up on the mountain for their heaters. And it was like a vacation. We weren't doing anything hard or anything. We were enjoying ourselves. And my whole experience was like a vacation. It wasn't a job or anything like that. And I always wanted to go around and see the world and everything like that. And I did, and on the Army's dime. And after Korea, they asked me why I wanted to get re-enlist that. I said, well, let me go to Patrick Air Force Base, real close to Mom and Dad. Well, they didn't have no openings. So they said, well, would you be happy with Homestead Air Force Base? I said, yeah, of course. So I went down to Homestead, and they assigned me to Key Largo, the first key before you head down to Key West. And I was assigned to a Nike Hercules missile site. And they assigned me to the supply room because I was the only 64 Charlie they had there. And they made me in charge. They made me the motor sergeant of the motor pool there. And it only consists of a short bus pickup truck and a car and a van. So we would go to Miami to get supplies and stuff like that in a van. We'd come back, but I wouldn't have no duty whatsoever. I wouldn't have to push CQ or anything like that. It was like a 9 to 5 job, Monday through Friday, and I'd go take off on the weekends, go scuba diving or go jet skiing or something like that. It was just, it's just really, really nice. And we were isolated. And when we did go fishing, we went out to this little pathway about a mile away from the compound. And what was pretty neat is that we were doing pretty good fishing. And all of a sudden, we seen this plane passing by, and it was really low, and they were throwing out stuff out the door. But there was a Coast Guard helicopter following behind it, and the Coast Guard boat was picking up the bales and stuff like that. So we knew what it was, and we were just still fishing. So all of a sudden, these cars came up, and guys came out with their guns and asking what we were doing there, and they didn't believe us and put us in handcuffs. And so we told them where our compound was, and they sent somebody down to get the first sergeant and the captain. And they came in, they identified us, and they said all we were doing is just fishing, because we had no idea. They thought the FBI and whoever else, was there, and they thought we were just there for the pails of marijuana. It was a joke, funny. We were laughing now, but back then, oh my gosh, we thought we were going to go to the feds. So after Korea, after Homestead, I went to Holland. I got a chance to go to Holland, to Brussels, Brunsum, Schinnen, Afsent, and I was there for 2 years. And as a VIP driver, I drove for General Haig, Caspar Weinberger, General Serio. I drove for Kissinger when he came in. So, and I got to know a bunch of guys in Shape, Belgium, and I got to know them real well, and all of us had motorcycles. And so we all decided to take a 45-day leave. And so we all toured Europe for that 45 days. England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, France, Italy. We went all over Germany, Holland. We went all over the place, and we were able to get off the beaten path because the interpreter knew 7 languages fluently. So we got away with a lot of stuff, especially when we were down in the Rhine River, down in Moselle Valley. They usually have a wine festival, and you buy yourself a nice goblet, for the wine, and you taste. Each place has their own wine, and we got so snockered on the end of the tour. We had to just lay down, put our bikes down, and stuff like that. But that was one of the good things we had, and we went to the Oktoberfest. We didn't start no trouble, but we did have our little drinks and stuff like that, enjoying the customs and everything. And went down towards Garmisch, Birch's Garden. Went and seen Hitler's Eagle's Nest, and we were just it wasn't like work or anything like that for me. I was so blessed having the time that I had. Um, the only thing I wish I'd done is when I was at Fort Jackson, I was helping this one kid. They told me to watch out for him and stuff like that. And we were trying to change the tire off a deuce and a half. And everybody knows it has a split rim. And you have to pop that out and undo the tire, take the rim out and everything. And so we did that, and we got a new tire, and we was putting it back together again. And we started blowing it up with the air hose. And I told the kid, I said, don't touch it, because I've got to come back and I got to put a bar through the holes. So when the split rim, when the tire pops, it won't pop that split rim off. Well, he didn't listen to me, so I came back around the corner of the motor pool of the shop, and all of a sudden, boom! The kid was standing over the tire, and it split rim just did away. I did a job on him and stuff like that, and stuff. So we lost him, and I wish I took him with me, and that's still with me today. But I'm 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 dealing with it, and I tell my wife once in a while about it, stuff like that. She's good with me and everything. But other than that, that's the only incident I had. And when I was in Korea. I did fly over to Japan because my brother was over there. He was in the Marines, and I might be pronouncing it wrong, but it was a Itakuni Marine Air Station, and I seen him, and it was great. You know, I didn't see him when he got deployed or anything, like when he went over there, but I'm glad I did, because I seen him graduate and stuff like that, and now he's passed away. Last year, he was only 67. He passed away of the Camp Lejeune water thing. And I tried to help him out. I gave him a lot of stem cells and everything, and he just the infection went to his brain, and just passed away. So it was I had good times with him and stuff like that. So I gotta think about the good times instead of the bad. And well, being traveling all over the place, it just helped me out. It just gives me appreciation, especially when I was in Korea, the way those people lived over there, and because you would never see any pets over there, any cats, any dogs. Then they would take care of it. That would be their meat supply and everything like that. And one time, us guys were going to Seoul, and we seen Papa San riding his bicycle, and he had a pig on the back of the bike, and he got that pig all drunk with Mockley and everything. He was taking the pig to market, and all of a sudden the pig woke up and everything. I guess he knew where he was going, because he was going crazy, and he dumped Papa San on the road. Took off in the field, but Papa San went and grabbed him. You know, but it gave you more of an appreciation of what you have here. You know, and the history over Germany. I mean, my grandfather and grandmother came from Germany, and Baden-Baden, the Black Forest. And I'm in a couple of years, I'm fixing to go back over there and seeing, if there is family still there. I've got the name of the town that he came from and everything like that. And I'm named after my grandfather. And I didn't meet him or anything like that, because he died in 1950. I was born in 54. But it's kind of funny, because he was at a bar in Long Island, Port Jeff, And some guy came up and said, well, buy me a beer. And my grandfather says, well, I don't know who you are. I'm not buying you a beer. So after my grandfather finished with his beer, he left. And the guy that asked him for the beer went outside. He found a car that had a key in it, went down and followed my grandfather, ran him right over, killed him. But they found out who it was, and he was sentenced. But I wanted to see him and everything like that. The only one I ever met was my grandmother when I was younger. And but to be named after him, so I got something forward to looking forward when I go up to heaven and everything like that, hopefully. But I went to, when I was at Fort Campbell, we would take off on the weekends at Fort Jackson. And no, Fort Campbell, yes, ma'am. Fort Campbell, we had a little pickup truck with a camper on the back of it, and I like to travel. So one kid asked me, he says, would you take me down to my grandmother's? I said, yeah. So we traveled down to his grandmother's, and it was the same area that had Buford Pusser. It was in the same area. And we stopped in, and she greeted me and everything like that, asked me if I was hungry. I said, yes, ma'am. And she said, well, I got some stew here. Would you like to have? I said, yes, ma'am. So she gave me some stew, and it was really, really good. And she asked her grandson, you want to see Grandpa? And he says, yeah. He said, and she says, well, he's up on the mountain. You know where he's at. So we had to take 2 mules just to ride up there, and it took like almost a half hour to ride up there. And I could hear the brook right next to where he was at, and I was sweating real bad. And he greeted his grandson. He said, son, you sweating like a pig. You thirsty? I said, yes, sir. So I thought he was going to give me a jar of water or something like that. I didn't know. It was clear. So he gave it to me, and he said, take a big swig. I said, yes, sir. Took a big swig. Oh my gosh. It went down so warm and everything. It was moonshine. He was doing moonshining back there. And so we had a good laugh, and we stayed there for a while, and he stayed when we left because he wanted to finish up, and went back to his house, and his grandmother fed us again and stuff, and we spent the night there. She knows how to cook. Oh my gosh, the biscuits and everything in the morning. And before I left, she asked me, you know what you had in that stew? You know what you ate? I said, no, ma'am, don't. I said, you want to tell me? She said, well, I don't know. I said, go ahead. She says, well, you had rattlesnake, you had rabbit, you had raccoon, you had squirrel, you had possum, and you had armadillo. I said, well, that was delicious. I really enjoyed it. She knew how to cook. She thought I was going to go crazy and everything like that. I said, no, ma'am. No, none whatsoever. But I had a good time in the service, and it's good for somebody to join just to see the country and everything like that. And if it wasn't for me joining in the service when I did, I'd either probably be in jail or in the ground. And my dad was my best friend. Oh, yeah, he was my best friend. When we were younger, me and Johnny, my brother, was with my mom. And my dad had to get the cops to get me and my brother because my mom wouldn't give us up. But we stayed with my dad all my, I think I was 6 years old and he was 5. And I stayed with him all that time until he passed. I think 16 years ago today. But he was so good to us. He would teach us all kinds of things. He was a jack of all trades. He would bring in an old junky truck, and my stepmom would yell at him, why are you bringing that crap into this house and everything, or into this yard? He said, well, I'm going to fix it up. So I think it was about 2 years. He pulled it out of the garage. My stepmom started yelling, what are you doing to do? You don't want to get rid of that. It looked like a brand new vehicle. That's how good he was. And so he sold that, and he started working on these shrimp boats you see down in Louisiana and stuff. He made one from the ground up in the backyard. He had to take the pilot cabin off of the boat just to get out of the yard so he can, get underneath the wires. But he put it back on, and oh my God, the man was so talented. He when he went down to Florida, when we moved down to Florida, he bought a house that was a wooden structure, 1 bedroom, 1 car garage, 1 bath. But before he passed, he raised the roof on it. Has 3 bedrooms in there, a huge bathroom, humongous living room with a fireplace. The kitchen was enormous. He did everything himself. He had an old pickup truck that he modified to be a dump truck, and it was just really something. He knew what to do, and he taught me and Johnny a lesson with our mom. He would tell us, whenever you treat your mom like a lady, and treat every lady like you would your mom. Give them respect. It doesn't matter who they are or what they are. They're a woman. And it worked out for us and everything. We've been having it for years. So it worked out real good. And I've had some good people watching over me and everything like that. Sergeant McLean down in Key Largo, he was my supply sergeant. And we took care of each other and stuff like that. He was a good man. And Sergeant Hartman, that was in Korea, in my transportation outfit, he was a good sergeant too. He would be everybody said he would be a hard ass, but he wanted to make sure everything was done and stuff like that, And Sergeant Gardner over in Holland, he helped me pass the E5 board. And I didn't get E5 until I got to Fort Jackson. But he really helped me out with getting that promotion, because he knew I wanted to stay in the Army for a long time. And all of a sudden they were saying, well, Bill, we got a new thing now. We got to check how fat people are and everything like that, I said, what are you talking about? Because my EERs were great. My PT test, I maxed out my PT test. No Article 15s or anything like that. And so I think it was that I went in 73 and Vietnam was over in 75. So back then they were looking for quantity, not quality. And I was saying, well, what about the sergeant major, the captain, the general, this and this? Oh, they've got too much time and we can't mess with them. I said, oh, okay, I'm doing such a good job. Because when I was over in Holland, Germany, I was in Augsburg, Germany, about, say, a half hour, 45 minutes to Munich. I had my own motor pool, and I had 4 or 5 military under me and 3 civilians. So I was doing a good job, and they just gave it to me because the sergeant, the E6 that had it, he had to go home on a compassionate reassignment. So they pushed me into that. I had no experience, but other than driving, so I said okay. So I had to have the guys take care of it for me before I could jump into it. I wanted to see the way they were working, and so they helped me out quite a bit. And I was there for a year and a half, but I decided every end of the month we'd have a barbecue. The guys wouldn't have to buy anything. I'd take care of it all. So we had the post commander coming over and asking what was going on. And we said, well, sir, I want to give my guys a good time because they took care of me and everything like that, just for respect. He says, oh, okay, all right. And he left. And we did this every month, end of the month, we always did barbecue. And there was at least 6 barbecues by the time we finished. And we had a lot of people coming over enjoying the barbecue. And the commander of the post would come over too, and he gets snockered. He gets so snockered and everything like that. He'd tell his driver, oh, just go, you're off for the day, go ahead. And I knew the MPs because I would supply them with vehicles and stuff like that. So I called the sergeant up and I asked him, could you get me an MP down here with a vehicle? And he asked me why. I said, well, the commander's kind of snockered. Yeah, no problem. So I was really good with that and everything. Like I got to be good friends with him and, got away with a lot of stuff. But it was all good stuff and everything. But I really, really enjoyed myself, and I have no bad feelings for the Army, because I only put 13 years in. I could have had more, 7 more years, and I wouldn't have been retired. But I was thinking, yeah, I had a good time. God was good to me also, flying all over the world and everything. Somebody was watching over for me and stuff like that. So I had an excellent time, and I wish other people would, go and stuff like that. If they don't know what they want, try it out, because other countries, it's mandatory that you have to go into the service and spend like a year or 2 years and everything like that. But I don't want to see the draft coming up because I just went when the draft was still on, but I went in, I registered, so I was an RA, and it was a good time. So if this helps out with people thinking about going in or something like that, go ahead and do it. You'll really enjoy yourself. I had Johnny went in the Marines. Eddie, my younger brother, he went in the Army. He was in for a couple of years, whatever, 6 years, I think, maybe 6. I got out, and he's with the Army Reserve still, and he got himself a good job. He's with the post office, so all his points are going to add up and everything. He's going to be not wanting for anything when he retires. So there's a good pension there, and with the military and everything. So, but I think I was blessed with what I did, how I got into it and stuff like that. And it's real funny because when I went for the ABFAT test, I said, I'm not going to try hard or anything. I just went boom, 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 give me a test, boom, boom, boom. I didn't even look at the answers. It just went, and I got good scores. I got a bunch of over 100s, a bunch of 90s, and I got 170 because it was my reading. And that's another thing. I quit school because my dad helped me out with my education. He had his own business, and I worked with him. And so I finished high school over in Holland. Yeah, it was excellent, and the teachers are great. So, I'm just lucky I got it. I'm 70 years old now, and I went in when I was 18. So, and I'm looking back at pictures I used to have, but I have a good life. I'm very happy. Met a nice girl back in Florida and stuff like that. We didn't see each other for 10 years, but then I asked her, we finally connected. Now she's my wife and stuff like that. Yeah. And Dad told her, "Oh, Bill loves you. He just don't know it right now, but he will find out, and be patient with him." So, yeah, she was patient with me, and we're together, and we're traveling all around we used to live in Florida and moved up here a year ago, and we love it up here. We're doing more up here than we were down there because it's so far and few between. Because it took me 3 hours to get to a hospital because I had a heart attack, and it took them 3 hours to get to me. So, got the VA here. We got the bus line. We just went up to Wisconsin Dells. Really, really beautiful country up here. And if people want to go into service, I highly recommend it. You know, just listen to what they're telling you because they're not yelling at you. They're just trying to help you. And I had a good time. And that's all I have to say.